Man, like Michael Jordan was the most complete basketball player that ever lived. Complete. Like Kareem was just as effective. Certain people could be, LeBron at times could be just as effective. But the most complete basketball player that ever lived is Michael Jordan. Completeness.
If it wasn't for Michael, I wouldn't make millions of dollars from Nike a year.
Right.
LeBron, Kobe wouldn't make millions of dollars from Nike a year. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, we all wouldn't have commercials. People act like athletes always did commercials. No. Number one, none of us had a shoe deal until Michael. None of us shot commercials.
We're jumping headfirst into the debate that just won't die. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. Everyone's got an opinion, but hey, we're cutting through the noise with 12 cold, unfiltered quotes from NBA icons, people who lived it, played it, and know the difference between greatness and everything else. That we're not talking social media soundbites or barbershop debates. This is straight from names like Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley, and more. Voices who saw MJ dominate firsthand and aren't afraid to say why he's still the standard everyone chases. So buckle up, because over the next few segments, we're breaking down each of these quotes and showing you why, according to the ones who actually know. This conversation might already be over. And hey, if you're into real talk from real voices, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. No fluff, just facts. Stephen A. Smith kicks things off with a reality check. He lays out a resume that speaks louder than any highlight reel. That's not just greatness, that's a blueprint. Stephen A. doesn't take anything away from LeBron. He praises his all-around brilliance, his longevity, his leadership. But when it comes to dominance under pressure, Jordan stands alone. LeBron has been extraordinary, but never invincible. Jordan was that perfect. Finals record isn't just a stat, it's a statement. When the lights burned brightest, Jordan never blinked. That's why Stephen A. says LeBron is revered, but Jordan was feared. And that fear, it's not hype, it's power. Teams didn't just prepare for MJ, they survived him. His athleticism, his killer instinct, his ability to control the pace and emotion of a game. He could walk into any arena and instantly change the energy. Players respected LeBron's brilliance, but they feared Jordan's will. That psychological edge, that ability to live in your opponent's head, is what separates dominance from legendary. Then Charles Barkley steps in and raises the stakes even higher. He reminds us that Jordan didn't just dominate basketball, he redefined it. Before MJ, endorsements were a bonus, shoe deals, a rarity. But when he signed with Nike, he didn't just sell sneakers. He built a movement. Jordan turned sports marketing into global influence. He made athletes brands. He made the NBA international. Barkley's point hits hard. LeBron might be the biggest face of today, but Jordan built the stage he's standing on. Without MJ's revolution, the modern athlete's empire doesn't exist, period.
I wouldn't make millions of dollars from Nike a year.
Right.
LeBron, Kobe wouldn't make millions of dollars from Nike a year. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, we all wouldn't have commercials. People act like athletes always did commercials. No. Number one, none of us had a shoe deal until Michael. None of us shot.
Charles Barkley didn't just share a story. He dropped a revelation that peeled back the curtain on what real influence looks like in professional sports. He recounted the moment that forever defined the difference between a superstar and a ruler of the game. It happened before the 1992 Olympics, when Team USA was forming the original Dream Team, a roster that would go down as the greatest collection of basketball talent ever assembled. But behind the scenes, there was tension, history, and pride on the line. And at the center of it all stood Michael Jordan. According to Barkley, Jordan made his stance crystal clear. If Isaiah Thomas was on that team, he wouldn't play. Simple. No shouting, no public drama, just a quiet message sent to the right people. And that message changed everything. Within days, it was decided. Thomas, one of the league's fiercest competitors, one of the greatest point guards of his generation, was left off the roster. Just like that. Now, this wasn't just about personal rivalry. Though everyone knew the bad blood between Jordan and Thomas went deep. From the late ATS playoff wars between the Bulls and the Pistons, to the infamous no-handshake moment after the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals, their relationship had collapsed under the weight of competition and pride. But Barkley said this moment wasn't about revenge. It was about principle and presence. Jordan didn't want to share a locker room with someone who had spent years trying to humiliate him, cheap-shot him, and deny him his moment. And the thing is, Jordan didn't need to argue that. His record, his dominance, his aura, they spoke louder than any words ever could. The Barkley story highlights something no stat sheet can measure. Power. Not fame, not hype, power. The kind that comes from respect earned through blood, sweat, and victory. Jordan's influence was so immense that one opinion, one condition, could reshape Olympic history. Nobody questioned it. Nobody challenged it. Because by then, Jordan wasn't just a player. He was the face of basketball itself. Barkley put it best. Jordan didn't just dominate on the floor. He controlled the ecosystem around him. He shaped rosters, shifted marketing empires, and set cultural standards that players are still chasing today. That dream team exclusion wasn't a random political move. It was the clearest sign of how completely Jordan had ascended. He wasn't just participating in the system. He had become the system. And here's the key. Jordan never bragged about it. He never gloated. That's what Barkley admired most. His power didn't come from noise. It came from silence, from results, from the unspoken understanding that when Michael Jordan drew a line, everyone else, teammates, coaches, executives, even rival legends, adjusted around him. No player since has held that same unshakable control. Not LeBron, not Kobe, not anyone. Because what Jordan had wasn't just leverage, it was legendary command. Barkley's story is more than a memory. It's a reminder that Jordan's reach went far beyond the stat books. He didn't just win championships. He set the terms for greatness itself.
Asked me personally about Isaiah Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas probably should have been on the team. And they asked Michael Jordan, did he have anything to do with it? And then it actually just came out in the last year where he said, I'll play as long as Isaiah don't play. So,
and then you got to have him. But you going overseas.
Stephen A. Smith didn't just analyze Michael Jordan. He decoded him. And he did it with the precision of someone who spent decades watching greatness unfold frame by frame. No sugarcoating, no overhype, just the truth. When it comes to the total package, Smith said Jordan wasn't just complete. He was perfectly engineered for dominance. Scoring, untouchable. Defense, ruthless. Leadership, unquestioned. Passing, IQ, clutch gene, mental toughness, all maxed out. Jordan didn't just play basketball. He commanded it. Smith pointed out something that often gets lost in stat sheet debates: versatility. While other legends carved out lanes of excellence, Jordan owned every lane. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had the skyhook. LeBron James has the power drive. Kobe Bryant had the footwork. But Jordan, he mastered every piece of the floor. If you threw your best defender at him, he'd torch him mid-range, double-team him, and he'd dissect you with passing. Try to bully him physically, and he'd meet you with fire, discipline, and that cold, surgical focus that broke your will before it broke the scoreboard. Kenny Smith once echoed this perfectly. Jordan wasn't just unstoppable on offense. He was a nightmare on defense. Players who thought they could get a breather when MJ was guarding them found themselves trapped in a chokehold of anticipation and intensity. His lateral quickness, timing, and obsession with detail made every possession personal. If you beat him once, you weren't beating him twice. But here's where Stephen A. went deeper. He connected the dots back to Jordan's roots. Those years under Dean Smith at North Carolina weren't just a chapter. They were a blueprint. That college discipline, learning to move without the ball, to trust the system, to value defense as much as offense, it built a foundation that separated Jordan from every other superstar who relied on raw talent alone. By the time he entered the NBA, he wasn't learning the game. He was refining his dominance. And that's what Stephen A. means when he says Jordan was a total package. It's not just that he scored. It's that he dictated tempo. It's not just that he defended. It's that he humiliated scorers. He could adapt to any pace, any style, any system, and still impose his will. Era, position, opponent, irrelevant. The result was the same. Control. Smith's take is a reminder that greatness isn't about stacking numbers. It's about balance, precision, and completeness. Jordan didn't need a system built around him. He was the system. Every possession ran through his mind before it ran through his hands. That's why his legacy still sits untouched. LeBron, Kobe, Magic, all legends in their own right. But Jordan was the template.
Michael Jordan was the most complete basketball player that's ever lived. Complete. Like Kareem was just as effective. Certain people could be, LeBron at times could be just as effective. But the most complete basketball player that ever lived.
Stephen A. Smith didn't just throw praise at Michael Jordan. He mapped out the anatomy of greatness. And Kenny Smith's insights backed it with surgical precision. According to Kenny, Jordan wasn't merely a scorer lighting up box scores. He was a one-man basketball clinic. Every movement, every decision, every possession, calculated, efficient, lethal. He wasn't just good at everything. He was elite at everything. That's the difference between talent and total control. Kenny explained that Jordan's greatness didn't just materialize the day he put on a Bulls jersey. It was engineered through discipline. Those 3 years at the University of North Carolina were more than a prelude. They were his foundation. Under Coach Dean Smith, Jordan learned what most superstars never do: patience, structure, and precision. That college environment was his laboratory, the place where he dissected the mechanics of movement, mastered footwork, learned to manipulate space, and turned the mid-range jumper into a weapon of mass destruction. By the time he entered the NBA, Jordan wasn't experimenting. He was executing. He came in with the IQ of a veteran and the hunger of a rookie, a combination so rare it forced the league to adjust to him, not the other way around. Kenny highlighted that while most players thrive in one lane, maybe they are elite scorers, or defensive anchors, or playmaking wizards, Jordan occupied all of them simultaneously. He defended wings with the intensity of a lockdown specialist, crashed the boards like a power forward, and orchestrated offense like a floor general. What often gets overlooked, Kenny said, is Jordan's vision. Everyone remembers the fadeaways, the dunks, the killer instinct, but few talk about how intelligent his passing was. He could thread passes through seams most players never even noticed. He anticipated movements 2 plays ahead, reading the floor like a chess master reading a board. That blend of anticipation and execution made his teams unstoppable, not just because of his scoring, but because he made everyone around him better while demanding their best. And that's where Kenny's message hits hardest. Jordan wasn't built on flash. He was built on fundamentals. His footwork wasn't fancy. It was flawless. His defense wasn't flashy. It was suffocating. His offense wasn't reckless. It was relentless. Every possession was a demonstration of control. He didn't just beat his opponents. He taught them what basketball perfection looked like decades later. Kenny admits, the league is full of greatness, LeBron's versatility, Curry's range, Johnny's power. But very few players have reached that level of total package dominance. Jordan wasn't the best at one thing. He was the best because he mastered everything.